The destructive effect of the flood was felt by minor bodies and by all the swarms, since they were mostly created to facilitate life. They were no longer created, as confirmed by the reverse direction of the reading mark. So this is going to fold back into everything. Everything that's come before is dependent on the land having worms and insects and so on in it that keep the land able to sustain life up above. So they come as this last category because they're really just part of what's keeping the land good for everyone else. So agreed, their existence fulfills the requirements for everything that's above it. Hashoretz, that swarming, with a munach. So munach separates itself out from what's come before and looks forward. Even spores in any stage of development that swarming would be the result of it were also destroyed as specified by the shape of the reading mark. So even potentially something that could be something that would grow on land later, that also, so that's separated out from all of those categories of these things that were alive before. So this isn't something that's even alive. This is something that's just potential for life. So even that potential, separated out from all those things that are alive, is going to disappear into the new reality. So again, this is separated. That munach is separating itself out from the vayigva, because these things aren't even alive. They're not really drowning, and yet they're ending their existence.
Wait a minute.
Well, we even mentioned earlier how Noah took the seeds. They sort of be the same category. They're not really alive, but they're needed for existence.
Potential, yes.
Potential. So he was specifically told to take them on the earth because he knew everything else. Then the other seeds and spores would be wiped out.
But all the plant life under the ocean also lived, I guess.
And why? Al haaretz. Because the stabilizing factor is it was things that used to be on the land, al haaretz with the net nachta. Number 10, because their presence would be over the earth, it was destroyed, as illustrated by the stabilizing shape of the reading mark. So the stability here comes in relationship to vayigva, to the fact that it's being destroyed, and the destruction is all those things that would be used to sustain the earth, in that the entire process of everything that was on the earth was corrupted. That entire process has to be stopped. V'chol, and most, with a tipcha, again looking backwards and collecting what's come from before it. At one time, all the living and most of their belongings were totally destroyed, and their remains were scattered over the earth, as conveyed by the reverse inclination of the related reading mark. So how do we know that their remains were scattered over the earth?
Reverse inclination.
So that the tipcha is looking backwards, therefore it's sweeping all the things that might have come before it.
Wait, the reverse inclination is about the note?
Yes.
Has he ever used that expression?
No.
So that must be significant right there. I'm assuming he's so exact about everything else that when he says shaping the reading marker, by parting the reading marker, or reverse inclination of the reading mark, that's a new one? So that has to mean something.
I don't know the nuance. I don't see that it means anything different, other than the directional shape.
He doesn't say directional shape.
Backwards directional shape.
Isn't that interesting? But something so exact. Like in Torah, we know there's something so exact. It's not just some. So if he's not saying directional, what he usually says, directional shape, you'd even say reverse directional shape or something. Reverse inclination.
For a different word.
No. He's not looking for synonyms here. He's very exact. Do you agree, Jeff? You're the expert.
I agree.
But we don't know. Okay, so we can agree, and
the first thing is that I'm looking into why he's saying that it was scattered all over the earth.
It's also anthropomorphic inclination.
And certainly that's because we're focusing back on the one previous word, al haaretz.
Is it possible? Could he say inclination because the whole story here
So
is...
their belongings, when we're talking about sheretz, we're talking about anything that made the earth livable. So this is anything that made it livable for a person, because we're talking about ha'adam now. Anything that made it livable for a person, that thing also disappeared.
Can I say something? Not knowing your father, but just whatever. I'm saying, because inclination is a weird word. It's almost like human. You know what I mean? Like.
So again.
So I'm thinking maybe because the whole point of the flood in the beginning was from the last pasuk in Bereshit already. Kol Yetzer Leiv Hadam Raminu. Or no, not that one, but whatever, something similar with Yetzer. Because inclination is Yetzer also, like, it's almost like he's making a pun about the word Yetzer right there.
So if we apply the concept that so let's finish the sentence, then we'll do what I've done before. Number 12, Ha'adam, of the man, with the stabilizing sof pasuk added. Although the flood was extensive, some areas of the man were not affected, like those in the ark, in Israel, or on remote lands and islands.
What? What do you know, Israel didn't have the flood?
It didn't cover the whole world.
It didn't?
That's my understanding.
Except for Israel.
I'm gonna have to. I don't remember any midrash that says that Israel was spared.
Or remote lands and islands. Why would that be?
Islands, yeah.
What, the Canary Islands, all of them? Like what? Prince Edward Islands? Or the Charlottetown Festival? Like about Green Gables? Or Islands?
Center Island.
Right. Well, Center Island is a recent phenomenon. It wasn't an island, it was a peninsula. You know it was attached to the mainland.
So this obviously has to have come from a source. And I will look back in Bereshit Rabbah because I don't remember anything talking about any areas of land,
spared.
Even Israel being spared.
Well, if it's spared, why not? I can see why it would be Israel.
But we'll get to the Reisha, the first half of the sentence, talking about the animals and the creatures that are crawling and so on, and these things sinned without full intention or a full human soul. The Chol Ha'adam, and all the man sinning with the ability to know the difference between right and wrong, and still doing it. So it's a different level. It's even more of a betrayal, and that's why the Chol includes the possessions. Those are the things that make the man into who he is, versus the animals, which just need the land to be fertile enough to sustain them. They don't necessarily need any of the things that they have composed themselves or so on. So that's why the whole ties in possessions.
How do you explain that the animals can sin? They don't have bechira, and I mean they work by instinct. So how do they sin? How can they sin? How can they sin?
By crossing species.
But how can they? But then that must be in their instinct, in their nature. And if it isn't in their nature, it almost implies that they have free will. It's hard to understand.
It implies there was some kind of poison.
That's
experience.
So again, we see that not only do the animals become corrupted, but even the land itself becomes corrupted. So the people who are the source of this corruption are fostering this by specifically mixing species, and then the species themselves see that, oh, this can be done, so monkey see, monkey do, and that's so there's no question that what the people are doing is an influence, and that influence is spreading into everything.
Well, it's like when they say when a woman has a relationship with an animal, you have to kill both, even though the animal wasn't at fault, but because he's part of that.
So let's just read the sentence so that we can at least wrap up the tape for the evening. Vayigva kol basar haromes al haaretz ba'of uvavhema uvachaya uvachol hasheretz hashoretz al haaretz v'chol ha'adam.
Is your father a Balkari also?
Yes.
Where? He used to learn every Shabbos?
At,
Hebrew men of England.
Not,
Do you know Hebrew men of England? Not in England. So where?
Victoria?
Oh, when Rabbi Rosenzweig was there or no? Before,
we're going to stop here and we'll
after.
continue the conversation.
Yeah.